Hello and welcome back to Subnautica. In the last episode we'd been making some things from the fragments we'd collected to make blueprints, and what I'd made was a beacon which I'll be using later on to start marking locations that we visit, and so that we can then go back and find them more easily. I made a sea glide, and I also made the mobile vehicle bay. And then using that, I made a sea moth. So now we can get around much quicker. We can go to much deeper depths. Because the problem is, at the moment, I can swim quite well. I can swim deep. I've got a pretty good storage tank for oxygen there. But the problem is, I've always got to go back to the surface to get my oxygen. By having the sea moth, all I've got to do is just, take this down to a certain depth. At the moment, it'll go to about 200 meters, I believe.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yeah, so at the moment it's capable of withstanding the pressures at about roughly 200 meters. So I can go down to around about that level in the sea moth and then jump out, go and have a look around at a deeper depth, and then I can just jump back in the sea moth and I'll get my oxygen again. So that's really useful. One of the things I mentioned in the last episode was about the Moonpool. Now, one thing to bear in mind is you actually need what's called a vehicle upgrade station to make upgrades to things like a sea moth. The Moonpool itself doesn't do the upgrades, it's the vehicle upgrade station, but that goes inside of the Moonpool. So that's just something to bear in mind. You might get the blueprints for the Moonpool, but you do need those other fragments and blueprints for the upgrade station to then start upgrading your sea moth. I definitely want to do that because, let's see, here we're getting told about like depth. So one of the things we were getting on the last episode, we got some radio messages about lifepod 17 and lifepod 19. Now if you look at these beacons, it tells you it'll tell you how far away these things are, but it also, in this case of like lifepod 17, it says it's at a depth of 100 meters. This one's at a depth of 300. Now you can upgrade the sea moth to go to that depth, but at the moment I think I'll probably end up just going to about 200, jumping out and then having a look on my own. I've got a sea glide, so I should be able to get there and back quite quickly. But ideally you really want to be able to upgrade these as soon as possible. What we also found in episode 2 was some fragments for the grav trap. There was also mention of a compass.
Seek fluid intake.
Now that needs copper wire and a wiring kit. That gives you some directions, a little compass up here on your HUD, but if I find some more copper, I've got quite a bit of excess, then I'll build that and see what it's like. But I'm quite keen to build a grav trap to see how good that is for catching fish. But the first thing I want to do is actually go out and visit these pods, see what's there. So 17 was the first one we got, I believe. Then we got the distress signal from the second officer, I believe it was, because he was saying that I think he said the captain didn't last. Actually, I'm running out of water. I don't have anything on me. First thing I better do is get some water. Have I got any? I've got some salt. Tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to base and just make some water. I don't want to go out all the way over to there because then I won't be able to make it. And that's something I've never got that. All I did was to jump out of the sea moth and I took a hit. Something caused damage. To be honest, I have no idea what that is. Right, okay. Let's see if we've got any coral here. Yep. Oh, and I've got some water there, so I'll take that. Well, actually, no, I'm going to leave that. I always like to leave some spares for an emergency. So I'll just quickly make some bleach, and that'll give us 2 water. Right, so I've made our water. Right, I'll just take one of those.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Let's take that med kit. Right, was there one in here? Nope. So we'll wait for that to get that one to get built. So lifepod 17. That's 3. Right. So just quickly head over to 17. One thing I'll say is that there is actually an easier way to get batteries. I'm going to have to start looking around for more copper. There isn't an easier way to actually find the batteries themselves that have already been made, and that is if you go over to the Aurora. There's usually quite a lot of them over there. Now I'm not going to do that here because I just want to play with along the quest line, so it means I'm going to be building batteries as I go along. But if you want to jump ahead, yeah, by all means do that, but just be sure that you've got the radiation suit first, because obviously at this stage the Aurora core has exploded and there's radiation in the area. Right, so let's see what we've got down here. So yeah, so if I'd started taking the radio messages earlier, I would have been able to come over here and start picking up things like these Seamoth fragments. Now in my case I went over to pod 3 for instance, and I was finding them along the way. Right, so I've got a PDA.
Integrating new PDA data.
I'm not really seeing much there. I need copper, so I may as well see what we've got here. It's titanium. May as well have that salt while I'm here. Right. Yeah, so if you look over there, here's lifepod 17, and there's a wreck. So as I was saying before, one of the good things about finding these pods is you might find fragments close by, fragments inside, but sometimes they're actually close to wrecks. There's one over there. I'm just going to get this here because I'm quite keen to get some copper, to be honest, because I need... Great, got some copper out of that one. Yeah, and there was a shale rock over here. Right, so just jump back into the Seamoth and head over to that crash. So yeah, so if you follow the quest, I mean in this case, this particular one helps just find fragments of things like the Seamoth. Good thing is I can just have a look around without having to get out. It's not so bad if this thing comes and hits the Seamoth will take a hit, but you can always repair it, just jump out, get your repair tool. I'll have a look in there and see if there's anything at a depth down here. Nope. Oh, that's a pity. One thing that's useful with a Seamoth is if you're out and about and it's dark, you can actually leave the lights turned on for a short period of time while you're looking for something, because you might jump out and it's pitch black, can't see a thing. So it does help to have those lights that light up the vicinity where you're at, because one of the problems you find, or at least I have anyway, is you get out the Seamoth, I can't find it. I honestly just cannot see where it is, even though it's got a beacon. I just cannot see where the thing is. Right, my oxygen's getting low, so I'm going to have to get back to the Seamoth. Oh, this is a bit of a pain. You've got this wreck here and there's just no fragments outside for some strange reason. Just pick up that salvage there. There's a fragment. I wonder if there's a fragment out in this box here. Got something. Ooh, the laser cutter. Now that's handy because I think, if memory serves, I think I found one.
30 seconds.
Oh, hang on. Let me get back to the Seamoth first. I found a
Detecting increased foreign bacterial levels in the water. Performing a self-scan is advised.
Okay. I did find a laser fragment.
100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
I did find a laser cutter fragment near to where I was building that base. I mean, I just call these the oh, there it is. The trouble is I can't see it. Oh, this is annoying. I can't barely see it. There you go. Yeah, I picked up another of these fragments near to where the where I was building the base. There's a lot of these red zones dotted around. I call them the red zone. I think they're officially called the grassy plateau. And there's a lot of them. It's like it's broken down into different biomes. So I think there's a few of these red ones, these grassy plateaus. But I just like calling them the red zone. It's easier. Fragments. So at the moment I'm just having a look at any fragments while I'm out here, to be honest. Ah, right. So this should give us our third and final fragment for the laser cutter. So then we can start cutting doors, and you definitely want to have one of these.
New blueprint acquired.
If you're going to go over to the Aurora, or if you want to get into shipwrecks. Because there's doors that are sealed. The only way to get into them is to cut them open. Now the thing is, you'll need diamond. I do know where to get diamond from, but I'm not going to go there yet because it's not on the quest line. Or at least I haven't reached that part of the quest line. I don't want to jump ahead. So at the moment, I'm just more interested in having a look around here. See if there's any other useful fragments, but also try and get some copper, because I want to build a grav trap. I'm going to build the compass as well, so I don't want to stray too far from the sea moth, especially when you get to much lower depths, because your only options are either head to the surface or go back to the sea moth.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
If you do drown, anything you...
fluid intake.
Hang on. Anything that you've...
signs stabilizing.
Yeah, if you do drown, in other words, you don't get your oxygen supply quick enough, you lose items that are in your inventory. You don't really die as such. So it tends to kind of save... Well, I mean, you can't like restore from a save, but it kind of takes a sort of like a snapshot of your inventory when you get into the sea moth, or when you go into your base, or when you go into a lifepod, and then you usually respawn in your lifepod or base. I don't want to do that. So it always pays to keep coming back into these. And now if I were to drown, if I were to get out of here, see, that's happened again for some strange reason. I don't see anything around. If I were to get out here, so like for instance there, I've just picked up a piece of gold.
100 meters.
Now
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
if I were to drown, I'd lose that piece of gold. The other items I've got will stay there. Well, I'll keep those, but no. So basically, there you go. So if you want to find that, I don't want to do that. Go away. I wanted the scanner. So if you want the laser fragment cutter, then it pays to come over to this lifepod 17. At least have a look around the shipwreck there. But yeah, so just bear in mind that if you do drown, you're going to lose whatever new items you've picked up. Let's see, how much copper? We've got 3, we've got 4 copper. That's not bad. There's some shale down there, but I'm more interested in copper. I want to gather as much as I can while I can. Titanium. Right, so... Oh, there's another one over there. Yes, more copper. Right, what I'm going to do now is... It's lifepod 19, I think, was the one the second officer went down in. When you've noticed the fish keep, banging into the sea moth, it's taking a bit of damage, so we're on about 94 in terms of what the state of this, sea moth. The power is now slowly going down to 90. This has got its own temperature gauge, so it tells you we're at about 26 degrees at the moment. You can get your own temperature gauge, and that's more useful when you're going around the vents there, because you need heat to be able to convert over to electricity. The hotter it is, the more efficient and the more energy electricity you get out of it. So lifepod, lifepod 19. This is the second officer. Now this one's at a pretty good depth. So I mean, I'm already at a depth of about 100. Yeah, we're at a pretty good depth already. But we need to get down to 300. Now this is another good zone here for getting things like fragments, but I'm getting pretty close to the depths that this thing can survive at. If you go below 200, it'll start to crack. Now this is useful. I've found another wreck, but I'm going to keep an eye on the power there, because we're already down to 87.
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Ah, there you go. It's called a thermal plant.
Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
That's what I was referring to. I kept calling them thermal stations, I think, but it's a thermal plant. Ah, there you go.
Blueprint acquired.
A vehicle upgrade station as well. Ah, now that's really handy. I don't have the Moonpool, to be honest, but I've got the
Diversity in this region is unusually low. Cause unknown.
Ah, the Moonpool fragment. So I need 2 of them. Hopefully they'll all be here. Ah, yeah, there's a Moonpool fragment, so I can now build a Moonpool. Ooh, okay. See, I mean, I'm at a depth of over 200 meters. I very much doubt I'll be able to get back to the surface at that.
Warning. Maximum depth
there you go.
reached. Hull damage imminent.
It's good that you get the warnings. I mean, you'll see it anyway, to be honest. This is not going to be practical. I don't want to keep wasting the battery power. I mean, things like the data bank over there, the light up and what have you, which is good, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to bring you back once it's light. I mean, if I'd built a torch, I might be able to get around easier, but to be honest, I'd rather be doing this when it's lighter. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll bring you back once it's light. Okay, so that was a rookie mistake. I went out there without enough water. I mean, I had enough food to get by on, but I didn't have enough water. So what I've done is, rather than just hanging around in the dark, I've come back to base. While I'm here, what I'm going to do, I may as well build this grav trap while I'm here. There's another message come through, so we'll see what that is. Just repair my seamoth as well, because I was moving around in the dark and just kept bumping into things. I really don't like leaving the lights on because of the battery power goes down pretty quick. But let's just see. So I need to make a battery. So I'll make one of these grav traps and we'll see how effective it is. And I'll pick up that radio message as well.
This is Sunbeam. You know Aurora. We're from a little transgov on the far side of Andromeda, and we have a saying there. There's no bad without the good, no good without the bad. Sounds like you tasted a bunch of the former, but that only means you're overdue a whole lot of the latter. Might just be we're it. We're scanning for somewhere to park. We'll be in touch when we find it. Sunbeam out.
Okay, well that's good. Problem is, Aurora came down. Where is it? Over here. Now the lifepod 19, the second officer says there is land around here. I haven't seen it yet, and I haven't been over to their lifepod, so it sounds like there is land around. But it's just not easy to see, at least from where I'm at. Anyway, I will go back to the lifepod 19, but I just want to see what this grav trap's like, see if it's any use. So if I put that, let's put that there. Oh, that's cool. So it's actually pulled a load of things. Ah, no, that's interesting. It's pulled a lot of things in from close by. So yeah, that's quite handy. That. I mean, still a bit fiddly having to pick things up. Come here. No, I can't actually pick those up, but I can pick these fish up still. Now, can I disable it? Ah, right. So it picked quite a few things up, I noticed. I mean, I was surprised it actually picked the rocks up and the creature eggs. I can't do much with these creature eggs yet, but yeah, it's quite useful, that. Right, so I'm gonna put these away. I want to see if I've got enough to make the compass as well. The problem with the compass, I think, is that, well, there's no map. Let's see, what does that need? It needs copper wire and wiring kit. Yeah, there's no map as such, so you can't. I mean, it'll tell you like directions as such, but not sure how beneficial it's going to be honest. I mean, I'll make one all the same, but so I need two silver to make a wiring kit. Okay, so that was under equipment, so make a compass. Okay, so that's automatically gone into here, so you can see on the hood just above where it's got the depth we're at. As I move around, it's showing you like the directions, but so based on where we're at, then I know roughly east. Over there is the Aurora. About north of here is lifepod 3. But I'm not really sure what benefit that gives you when I've got the beacons anyway. I've just got to follow beacons. And that's what I did actually. I left my last beacon at where that wreck was, so it's now much easier for me to go there. So rather than following that, potentially missing the wreck, I've got a beacon that tells me exactly where that wreck is. So I found some quite good fragments there. I need to just put some of these things away. That takes up 4 slots. Just put these away there. I'll break these fragments down while I'm here. The fish I may as well. I'm gonna rot, and I don't have any salt on me. Yeah, I'll just cook them. I mean, they'll last a bit of time, not a great deal, but a bit. But while I'm out and about, I'm going to have to look out for some salt, really. Now oh, that's interesting. I'm sure how to deploy. Oh, there it is. There's my locker over there. So I can put some things in here. That'll free up a bit of space. I don't really need that at the moment. That'll do. So I've got a bit of water and I've got some food to keep me going. Right, so I'm going to head over to that wreck.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And I can actually see where I'm going now. I just kept bumping into all sorts of things while I was coming back. I mean, we're down to, what, 82 power? The problem is, without a recharger or a Moonpool, I'd have to keep replacing the power cells. It's not too bad, it just means you've got to go out and search for the copper to get your batteries and then make your power cells. So I'd rather like preserve the power as much as I can for now. Meters away, that's not too far. That's interesting, it doesn't tell me how deep that beacon is. No, never mind. Yeah, this is a good area to find fragments if memory serves, out here. So you can sometimes just come out here, build a scanner, put a couple of like power cells on it, search for your fragments.
Maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
Passing 100 meters.
Search.
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Yeah, once you've got your scanner room
Passing
deployed.
200 meters. Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
Once you've got your scanner room deployed, you can search for your fragments. Alright, okay, so we've got a prawn suit arm fragment. We don't have a prawn suit. That's more of an upgrade. You can go out searching for the fragments. Once you finish with it, you can then pick it back up again. Aha, so that should give us enough for our thermal plant. That's good. Is that something under there? Ah, no, it's just a broken radio. You can't do anything with it. I can already make it anyway, so not a big deal. I'm going to run out of oxygen. Better bring the Seamoth closer in. Yeah, so once you're finished with your scanner room, you can just pick it up, take it somewhere else. So it's quite handy.
Warning. Maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
That was dumb. Anything around here? Oh, there's some salt over there. Definitely want salt because I can make more water. That's one of the big problems is water. While you're swimming around in the sea, you're getting dehydrated. Ah, so we've got to go right down there. Right, okay. So what's this? Another one for the thermal. So if you come over here, it's pretty much certain you'll get the thermal plant ones. Don't have a laser cutter made yet, but we could come in here at a later time and cut that open and see what's in there. I'm sure there'll be something interesting. Right, so I've got to be a bit careful here. I don't want to go down any lower. Right, so I've got our O2. Let's have a look and see if I can find anything else. Looks like another... Is that another arm or a... Oh, I've already got the Moonpool. Never mind. So at least we know where we can get a Moonpool from in future. I mean, it really pays to just follow the messages. You know, play along with this. I mean, it's an open-ended game as such, but if you follow the radio messages and just follow them through sequentially, you start to pick up all the things that you need. What was that? Yeah, Moonpool. There's another arm over there. So we've got enough for the arm.
New blueprint acquired.
The problem I've got at the moment, it's very easy to get it's very easy to get far away. Next thing you know, you'll drown. The problem is, as you get deeper,
Passing 200 meters. Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
as you get deeper and deeper, you lose oxygen quicker. And that's why it keeps warning you. So we've gone below 100 meters and it was warning us. Go below, was it 200 I think it was, or something.
Blueprint acquired.
It warns you again, it's getting worse. You can get equipment to make life easier. Command chair. But yeah, at the moment our oxygen's going down really, really quickly.
Acquired.
It'd be better if you had a Seamoth that had been upgraded. I know where you can get the upgrade already, but I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to jump ahead now. I need to be a bit careful here because I can only go so far before I start getting this thing crushed. Right, let's have a look. See, it's not too far down. Okay, so there's the PDA.
Integrating new PDA data.
Now that's useful. I'm going to pick this. I'm going to pick this up. This is gel sac, and I want to pick that up.
New blueprint acquired.
There's a blueprint. Aha! The ultra high capacity tank.
New blueprint acquired.
The ultra high capacity tank is really good. The only problem is you need a modification station to build one, which is a pity. Okay, let's go back down again. Ah, now that's interesting. It's automatically turned the beacon off, I think. Or has it? Because I can't see it. There's the lifepod. Now that's interesting. That I can't see the beacon. I think this is what I was talking about before. The beacon's gone. So we were looking for 19. Ah, see? Ah, so it did come back. That's interesting, that. I mean, it didn't turn it off.
200 meters.
It
Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
It didn't actually turn the beacon off. But for whatever reason, I visited. And the beacon just disappeared. That's why I was saying I'd rather have my own beacons to take with me, because they don't seem to be affected by whatever that is.
30 seconds.
Ugly duckly.
Warning, maximum depth
Whoa.
reached. Hull damage imminent.
I wonder if it started to sink or something. It's a bit odd. Right, well, I can't do much with that wreck anymore. It crashed into the beacon. I can't do much with that wreck at the moment without like a laser cutter. So what I'm going to do is, I know where the wreck is. It's right next to where the lifepod is, so I'm not going to waste this one. So I'll put my beacon in here. The lifepod's there. So we've been to 3, so I'm just going to mark that. And we've been to, yeah, I've been to 3 and 19. I'm trying to remember if I went to 70. I think 17 was one of the first ones I went to. I'll have to check. I'll have to check and see if I went there. My memory seems to have just suddenly gone down the toilet. I can't remember what I've done. So there's 19 over there. Now where's 17 gone? I'm gonna head back. Well, it's really dark. I cannot see a thing. I mean, I can turn the lights on, but so you can see things pretty up.
Seek fluid intake.
You can see things, you know, reasonably well with the lights on, but again, it's the power I'm more bothered about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find out what happened to lifepod 17, because as I say, I'm not 100% sure if I've actually already been there or not. I'm going to pause the video there, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I've come back to the lifepod. I'm not seeing any signs of lifepod 17. There's 3 over there, 19 over there. I know we actually did visit lifepod 17 now that I think about it. I've even gone back and checked the video, and sure enough, yeah, I did go to lifepod 17 because we went over there and picked up some laser cutter fragments. But according to the beacon manager, it should be showing up on the hood. So I'm going to disable it in the hood. Now I'm going to re-enable it, and lo and behold, it's turned back up again. So that's odd, that. So it seems as if once you've actually visited one of these places where it's created a new beacon for you, it will disable it, but for some reason it doesn't always disable it within the beacon manager. So it's a bit deceptive, that. But at least I know now, you know, if there's a beacon I need to look for, I can just, you know, turn it on, turn it off, turn it off, turn it back on again. Sounds familiar with computers, really. So I think that's about as much as I want to do for this video today. Achieved quite a bit, really. I mean, been out and about looking at these pods, like pods 17 and 19 over there. I've managed to gather all of the laser cutter fragments, which will be good for getting into wrecks as well as into the Aurora. We managed to find quite a good wreck over there, for instance. Now, while I was over there, I found some thermal plant fragments. Oh, I'm going to run out of oxygen. Yeah, we managed to find some thermal plant fragments, which will come in useful for a base. Some Moonpool fragments, so I can build one of those, which is good for the Seamoth, because I'll be able to start recharging it. Did manage to find some fragments for the prawn suit torpedo arm, enough to make a blueprint for that as well, but it's not really any use yet until we get the actual prawn suit itself. Over at lifepod 19 I found some gel sacs, which I've brought back with me. The interesting thing, I mean, I know where they are, but one of the good things about these, you need these for some more advanced products. What you can do is, though, is you can actually put these into the outdoor growing beds, for instance, and these will create more gel sacs, which you can then cut them up into smaller pieces. So you start off with like one, cut it up into 4 pieces, then that allows you to grow 4 and so on. So then you can be able to use 3 and just regrow 1 and another 1. It's very handy. But we also found an ultra high capacity tank over there, which is better than the O2 tank we've got at the moment. But unfortunately, we'd have to find the modification station to be able to build it. So I'm just going to check. Yeah, I don't think there's any more messages, but I'm going to leave it there for today. I think at the next time we come back, it's a bit early to try building the laser cutter because I need diamond and we haven't reached far enough within the quest yet. Thermal plant, Moonpool, and something more to do with the base, and I can start building the base foundations, but I won't be able to build the main parts of the base. I mean, you do know some blueprints for certain things. I mean, for instance, you can build these and build storage units in, but you're really better off with these ones. I could, I suppose, build a Moonpool just as a standalone one just to get started, but I'll have a think about that. So anyway, that's all there is for this video. If you do like it, then I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like. If you want to see more of Subnautica, then do please subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next video, thanks, bye.